All right, who's up? Who's on first?
All right, so you got 6 episodes, and they're saying that it's sort of like 24 and that it's a compressed amount of time. Do you have sort of an arc that this continues beyond the first season of how you want to do the show? Do you have that back in the back of your head?
Yeah, very much so. But fundamentally, the arc in a in a loose sense, the arc is always going to be. Always going to be chasing what Kirkman's done. I'm always going to be following, his wake. We taking detours along the way, stopping to smell the roses, as it were, in turnouts that he didn't take, perhaps, but definitely continuing always after what he's done, because it's terrific stuff.
No one's ever done a zombie TV show before, so...
well, not in this country.
Well, not in this country.
Yeah.
But
we were corrected.
We were corrected, severely scolded by a young lady from Australia.
What can you do differently when you're doing a show about zombies that you couldn't do in a movie about zombies, and what did you learn as a writer about them?
Well, the pleasure of doing any kind of serialized television is that what you can't do in a feature is really spend that incremental time getting to know characters. That's why I love some of the stuff on television these days. Television as a medium has never been better than certain things we've had in the last number of years, because all the good writing is now going into that. It's not much welcome in features anymore. The character-driven stuff is what works so well on television. If you look at The Wire, I'm not comparing us to anybody, but if you look at The Wire, if you look at The Shield, if you look at Breaking Bad, which is currently my favorite thing. It's that marvelous serialized, you get to know these people over a period of years thing, versus telling a story in 2 hours or less. And that's one of the reasons I was so thrilled about the idea of trying to do this, is because I love the idea of doing something long term like that.
And everybody always knows, the more you care about your people, then the more horrific it is when something bad happens to them. It's like, the Robert Shaw getting eaten at the end of Jaws, and it's like a character you're invested in and you spend all this time with. So on a show like this, you get to know them, so the horror is even more real, because you know them more deeply than you would if you just met them and it's an hour and a half and then they're gone. So I think it's really critical that the more you learn about Rick, and the first episode you're on his journey with him as he's sort of we're discovering along with him what has happened to the world. So you're seeing it in his eyes. So the more you learn about his search for his family and everything, then the more horrific it becomes, because you can relate to it.